From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Will masks be required in Bozeman schools this year? That question took front and center stage at a 6-hour school board meeting this week. We'll recap that coming up. And as property values go up, so do property taxes. But a proposal coming out of Helena might change that. We'll take a closer look at that also this morning. Just ahead of 6:30 on this Wednesday, Chet Lehman, Matt Elwell with you here. Those are clouds.
No,
not smoke clouds. Those are clouds with moisture in them and everything.
And I think we're going to be able to see the horizon at least for a short time. Even
Nice.
with the cloud cover, it's more than we've been able to see in the last few days. Temperatures this morning a little more on the crisp and cool side, definitely damp as we're looking at our satellite and radar imagery. Just light to moderate rain trying to move through. Remember, in southwest Montana, we don't get a lot of low-level coverage, so when these rain showers aren't thunderstorms, we don't see a lot of that. So there may be some heavier downpours in a few areas, but overall we're just talking run-of-the-mill showers for the morning hours. It'll slowly clear out and become lighter as you go into the afternoon. Just spotty rain showers, light rain for most of the area this morning. So look out this morning. Again, a little bit of cloud cover. Temperatures back into the mid-50s by the afternoon. Definitely cooler as you're heading throughout the day. We're going to talk more about how long this is going to last in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Matt. Just ahead of 6:31 now. 6 hours of discussion from Bozeman School Board trustees, the superintendent, and dozens of public comments from both parents and students. MTN's Annie Johnson has a recap of Monday's Bozeman School Board meeting.
Will students in the Bozeman School District be required to wear a mask this fall? Well, unfortunately, you didn't get that answer from Monday night's meeting, but there was a lot of discussion around it.
The big question that we're all here to talk about and discuss is masks.
There was another equally important question trustees also have to figure out, which is how to create unity in the mask or no mask divide and, quote, not turn schools into a war zone, because of course there are multiple sides.
When did we as Americans become so babyish that we can't get together and do something as simple as wearing a mask until we figure this thing out?
We're the parents. We're the ones that are taking the risks, sending our kids to the public schools with or without masks. I'm disappointed that you guys have all made up your minds without even listening to us.
And it wasn't just the parents. Students also weighed in on both sides.
If I just have to wear a mask to keep people safe, then I'm more than willing to do that. We don't have to make it political. It's about safety and health.
You're sitting in school for 8 hours. At the end of the day, your face is very sweaty and hot and gross. And until you're doing that every day, I do not want to hear someone who only wears theirs in the grocery store for 20 minutes to tell me how I'm supposed to feel about a mask.
Trustees don't have much time left to make a decision before school starts on the 30th. Usually school board meetings are scheduled every 2 weeks, but the next school board meeting is scheduled for Monday, August 23rd. Reporting in Bozeman, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
And Annie tells us the trustees are expected to take a vote at that meeting on Monday, the 23rd. Meantime, Montana State University President Dr. Waded Cruzado sent out an email. Students, faculty, staff, and visitors will need to wear face masks indoors on campus at Montana State University. Now, unless rescinded, President Cruzado said it will be in effect until Friday, October 1st. Dr. Cruzado says she is trying to avoid calling it a requirement or mandate because, in her words, those two terms foment dissension and division. She hopes everyone will do it because it's needed to have a semester with a full campus experience. Now, outdoors masks are optional. Dr. Cruzado says if there is rampant disregard for masks indoors or if the numbers in Gallatin County show a sustained increase, MSU will revert to mandating face masks. In other headlines, as real estate and home values escalate to historic highs in many parts of Montana, that increase could lead to higher property taxes for some. But a former state lawmaker and state auditor Troy Downing are working on a possible offset in the form of a constitutional initiative. MTN's chief political reporter Mike Dennison has more.
This month, former Republican state representative and Bozeman attorney Matthew Monforton submitted language for an initiative asking voters if they want to move Montana to an acquisition value system of property assessment for tax purposes. The proposed constitutional change would cap property taxes at 1% of the property's assessed value as of December 2019. Then the assessed value of your home or business wouldn't increase any more than the annual inflation rate. until it's sold to somebody else, when the assessed value would then be the sale value. Monforton says the time is ripe for this change because surging property values will lead to higher assessed values under the current system and higher property taxes. State Auditor Troy Downing is a supporter of the idea as well.
The problem that I'm trying to solve here, which I think is a very real problem, is you're going to start taxing people out of their houses. What the intent of this is to have a cap on how much the value of that house can go for tax purposes up every year to make sure that it doesn't suddenly get reassessed, from a few $100,000 to, a lot more.
Right now, the state reassesses the value of homes and businesses every 2 years for property tax purposes. If your value increases, your taxes could too, although state law does place some inflationary limits on what local governments can collect. The proposal from Monforton and Downing is very similar to California's Proposition 13, which passed in 1978. That law greatly reduced revenue for local governments, but Downing believes the Montana proposal would keep those governments at current revenue levels and allow for gradual increases. As for Downing's involvement, state law does prohibit public officials from using their office to support a candidate or ballot measure. He says he's acting as a concerned citizen to generate interest in the idea.
My hope and intention here is to get enough interest that somebody will, take the handoff and run with it.
It will take the signatures of more than 60,000 registered Montana voters to get this initiative on the 2022 November ballot. Whichever committee or organization funds that effort will have until next spring to reach that goal. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
6:36, staying in the housing market. Evictions are again on hold across the U.S., this time through October 3rd. But landlords are becoming more vocal than ever, wondering if the most recent extension is really the answer to the looming crisis. Michelle London talked with some small landlords and an advocate group now taking legal action.
Renovated a lot of these units. We painted the interiors. It needs repainting again, but...
Months of remodeling and work Debbie Stobie remembers proudly investing. It's one of 3 properties she and her husband bought for retirement income.
Yeah, there's a real community feel here among the tenants.
Now, 18 months later, a once rewarding stream of income has turned into lingering uncertainty.
Why do we as landlords have to bear the risk, the burden of not knowing month to month?
Questions she and other landlords, especially smaller owners across the country, are now grappling with as the CDC's eviction moratorium continues.
No one wants to evict people, ever.
Debbie says keeping her residents at the forefront of her mind has been the goal from the start.
When their paychecks were suddenly cut or non-existent, our first thought was not to, evict them or anything like that. We talked to them, okay, when do you think you'll go back to work? What can you pay?
The new eviction moratorium is intended to target parts of the country where COVID cases are rapidly spreading, and mass evictions would worsen the spread. In order to be protected under the moratorium, tenants must complete this declaration by the CDC, submitting a signed copy to their landlords. Before signing, they must meet at least one of these qualifications on the document.
Allowing people to pay, weekly, daily sometimes, and sometimes the months overlap.
Each overlap adds up, becoming a financial burden. Now, between mortgage payments, taxes, and day-to-day operations, Debbie says she's barely able to break even on her monthly bills. She's currently charging a below-market value rent of $1,100 a month per apartment here in the Denver area. With a new eviction moratorium extension, Debbie says the risks of ownership are starting to outweigh the benefits.
It affects the operations of the property, it affects payroll, it affects our employment of our employees, obviously, and then the basic upkeep of the property.
While Debbie isn't in a financial hole just yet, Stephanie Graves, property owner in Houston, Texas, has a different story.
I have a property that has 14 units, and there's 3 residents that haven't paid. They each have a balance over $10,000.
Stephanie says she's now digging in her own savings to cover more than $30,000 in back rent payments, while apartment amenities suffer.
We can't just go out and buy a $4,500 AC unit. We have to find somebody that'll extend us credit so that we can replace that for the resident.
Less money coming in means prioritizing funds and shutting down non-necessities like swimming pools on the property. Her smaller apartment units are taking the hardest hits.
The impact has been tremendous. You know, the amount of rental debt that's outstanding has not stopped.
According to the Urban Institute, at the end of 2020, there was about $57 billion in unpaid rental debt, and numbers continue to grow. Greg Brown, Senior Vice President of Government Affairs for the National Apartment Association, says even though $47 billion in rental assistance was provided by Congress, there's still a lot that federal support doesn't cover.
That weighs heavily on our members who have been trying to continue to operate their properties, continue to serve their residents, and keep people in their homes while not having all the rent that they need to do that.
To help its members get back on their feet, the NAA is now battling the federal government in court. With a $26 billion lawsuit for damages and losses its members have faced since the start of the pandemic. A legal process Brown says could take years.
But more recently, we've just come to the conclusion that because there is this extraordinary gap between what is available in rental assistance and what is outstanding.
Brown's message for landlords is to hang on and to keep communicating with tenants, but fears a grim future for these owners if this isn't lifted soon.
What you don't want to see at the end of that is them having to sell their properties because they no longer can afford to operate them.
Stephanie fears rents will go up in the future and affect affordable housing long term. As for Debbie's future as an owner,
I don't think we have the stamina to keep in the game. You know, I think, we would seriously consider selling the building.
I'm Michelle London reporting.
Again, that moratorium has been extended until October 3rd. Meantime, we're going to take a quick break here on Montana This Morning. When we come back.
This month, there have been several cases of kids dying in hot cars. I'm Anthony Perro with tips that can help prevent a tragedy.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, just days after the Taliban takeover in Afghanistan, there are growing fears about terrorist threats here at home. Counter-terror expert John Miller joins us to discuss his biggest concerns. Plus, cracking down on vaccine misinformation in a CBS This Morning exclusive. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg tells Gail about the false information on his platform. And Oscar and Tony-nominated actor Ethan Hawke joins us to talk about his new book and also his role in an upcoming Marvel series. Is he a hero or a villain? We'll tell you, and we'll see you at 7.